What if the most profound discovery in human history was made, and then deliberately buried? We're not talking about rumors or grainy photos. We're talking about 24 gigabytes of classified NASA data on an interstellar visitor that defied the laws of physics. Data leaked by a ghost-like hacker group, revealing a 26-kilometer-wide object that wasn't just passing through our solar system, but actively navigating it. This is the story of 3I Atlas, what NASA allegedly found and why they never wanted you to see it. Let's delve into the data. Event Horizon cyber attack. How does a secret stay buried in the digital age? Sometimes, it doesn't. In the dead of night on September 2, 2025, a hacker collective calling themselves Event Horizon executed a flawless cyber attack on NASA. They didn't just knock on the door, they dismantled it. By exploiting a zero-day vulnerability in an outdated mission planning module, they bypassed layers of federal firewalls. Security logs, later leaked themselves, show a terrifying timeline. At 3:14 a.m. Eastern, initial access was gained. By 3:19 they had escalated their privileges to the highest level. At 3:23, the exfiltration began. In less than 7 minutes, 24 gigabytes of compressed files were siphoned from a secure server containing mission telemetry, internal communications, and top-secret analysis on Object 3Y Atlas. By 3:30, they were gone. The attackers left no signature, no digital fingerprints, only a silent void in the server logs where critical audit trails should have been. The specific target was a data archive tied to the Deep Space Network, containing the most sensitive raw telemetry. NASA's internal cyber forensics team was left with nothing but a clean exit, a ghost in the machine that had walked out with the crown jewels. The manifesto and distribution. A data breach is one thing, but a declaration of war on secrecy is another. Within hours of the hack, a manifesto from Event Horizon appeared on encrypted forums. Their message wasn't a boast, it was a justification. They claimed the breach was a direct response to what they termed unlawful cosmic secrecy, arguing that discoveries of this magnitude belong to humanity, not to a select few government agencies. The manifesto warned that the stolen files contained information so sensitive even senior directors at NASA were allegedly unaware of its full scope. Their language was direct: the world deserves to know what its own scientists have found. To prove their point, they began a strategic distribution campaign. Blurred screenshots and heavily redacted memos were sent to journalists and channels known for covering classified science. They specifically avoided mainstream outlets, opting for platforms that would analyze the data without an institutional filter. This drip feed of information created a groundswell of speculation that legacy media couldn't ignore, forcing the conversation into the open on Event Horizon's terms. Authenticating the documents. How can we be sure these leaks are real? The proof is in the details. The screenshots that flooded encrypted channels are layered with evidence of their origin. Documents are stamped confidential in bold block letters. Metadata tags show a 0314 UTC timestamp, matching the breach window from NASA's own security audit. A mission patch appears in the corner, a stylized comet streaking past a NASA vector, flanked by the code 3I Atlas int. One partially blurred memo lists the object's trajectory with terrifying numbers, hyperbolic v-infinity of 26.1 kilometers per second and an eccentricity, or E, of 6.2. These figures confirm an interstellar origin at a speed that defies simple explanation. Another screenshot shows a status log from the Intercept team. Most text is blacked out except for a single phrase: plume anomaly flagged at T plus 11.3 seconds. The documents include FITS file headers for raw imaging data and internal routing codes for JPL's document management system. These are the kinds of mundane, technical details that are nearly impossible to fake convincingly. Discovery of 3I Atlas. Before the leak, there was the discovery that started it all. On July 1, 2025, the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS survey in Hawaii, logged a new object tearing into the solar system at 130,000 miles per hour. Astronomers flagged it immediately. This was no ordinary comet. The object, soon labeled 3Y Atlas, measured an estimated 26 kilometers across, roughly the size of Manhattan, moving faster than any object ever observed inside the orbit of Jupiter. Veteran survey scientist Dr. Lina Takahashi, a fictional name from the leaked files, was quoted in a log. The track was so steep, the software flagged it as an error. Within hours, observatories from Chile to Arizona confirmed the numbers. The object's incoming speed of over 58 kilometers per second defied the sun's gravitational grip. Its trajectory pointed back toward the constellation Lyra, far from the ecliptic plane where most solar system debris resides. To put its size in perspective, the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs was only about 10 kilometers wide. This was over twice that, and it wasn't from around here. Impossible physics and trajectory. Here is where the data gets terrifying. The trajectory of 3I Atlas was not just interstellar, it was unnatural. Calculations from the Minor Planet Center confirmed by JPL revealed an orbital eccentricity of over 6. For context, most comets from our own Oort cloud barely reach an eccentricity of 1.0. Our first interstellar visitor, Oumuamua, had an eccentricity of 1.2. A value of 6.2 means the object was moving on an almost perfectly straight line at a velocity that gravity could barely alter. But the most damning piece of evidence detailed in the leaked mission logs was a sudden, unexplained sideways acceleration on July 18, 2025. It was a course correction. The object wasn't just flying, it was steering. The maneuver required a change in velocity, or delta V, that would have required gigatons of force to achieve on an object of this mass. All natural explanations, outgassing, solar radiation pressure, even a gravitational assist from an unknown planet, were systematically modeled and ruled out by JPL's top analysts. The physics simply didn't work unless the push came from within. Surface anomalies. The armor problem. What does a 26-kilometer object from another star system look like? The first leaked images from the Intercept mission were paradigm-shattering. 3I Atlas's surface resembled no comet on file. Imaging analysts flagged a pattern of smooth, almost metallic-looking plating, broken by lines that ran too straight to be natural fractures. One analyst, quoted in a redacted chat log, called it the radiator problem, referring to a gridwork of raised ridges spaced like the cooling fins on spacecraft. These ribs cast long uniform shadows, and their regularity caused the anomaly detection software to flag the pattern as artificial. Comparisons to known comets like Halley or 67 P Churyumov-Gerasimenko fell apart. Their surfaces are jagged and chaotic. 3I Atlas, in contrast, had long stretches that reflected sunlight like polished alloy. Further spectral analysis of this reflected light showed an albedo inconsistent with any known meteoritic iron, lacking the usual chondritic features. It was too smooth, too reflective, and far too structured. Thermal signatures and heat pulses. This is where the data points directly to active technology. Martin Cordner's team at Goddard Space Flight Center, a name appearing in the leak, got a full infrared spectrum of 3I Atlas. The data was so sensitive it was sealed within hours under a restricted embargo. The logs show the Webb telescope's infrared array recorded heat vents pulsing with the regularity of a clock every 90 seconds. Heat would pool along the radiator seams and then burst outward in tight, directed jets, not the broad, chaotic outgassing of a comet. The mission logs label this a directive motion event, a term usually reserved for spacecraft thrusters. More disturbing, trajectory analysts correlated these thermal pulses with the object's subtle course corrections. Each 90-second heat pulse matched a tiny, precise adjustment needed to maintain its hyperbolic escape route. The focused nature of these thermal events implies the existence of engineered nozzles or vents, as a natural body's heat would dissipate uniformly across its surface according to the laws of thermodynamics. This was controlled, focused, and undeniably artificial. Chemical composition mysteries. The mystery only deepens when you look at what 3I Atlas was made of. Martin Cordner's team at Goddard was the first to get a full spectrum after the Intercept, and the results were an instant red flag. The early spectra lit up with incredibly sharp, bright lines of nickel. In cosmic bodies, nickel almost always rides shotgun with iron. Yet in every single frame of data from 3I Atlas, iron was almost completely absent. Its signature spectral lines were missing. This isn't just rare. In the entire catalog of known comets and asteroids, it's unheard of. The natural formation processes that create asteroids from protoplanetary disks simply don't separate these two elements with such purity. Leaked notes suggest the isotopic ratio of the nickel was also wrong, indicating it wasn't formed in a typical supernova. The purity level was estimated to be over 99.8%, a level that on Earth requires an advanced electrochemical process known as the Mond process. Radio echoes and communication patterns. Did we ever try to listen? According to the leaked files, yes. And what we heard was terrifying. While public-facing projects might report silence, the classified logs from the Deep Space Network told a different story. Radio astronomers reviewing the Intercept mission's raw data flagged a pattern that shouldn't have been there: faint, repeating echoes bouncing back from the object at regular intervals. These were not natural radio bursts or cosmic static. They were precise, clipped signals echoing at intervals that mapped almost perfectly to the 90-second timing of the object's thermal pulses. A veteran telemetry specialist named Marissa Singh, in a chat log later leaked by Event Horizon, wrote, "It's like someone is pinging the probe and it's answering. The pattern is too tight for random noise." The return signal wasn't a simple reflection. It was modulated, carrying a complex phase shift. It was, for all intents and purposes, a reply. This suggested the object was not just passive, but an active system processing and responding to incoming stimuli. Expert analysis and propulsion theory. You can't discuss these anomalies without bringing in a voice of scientific courage like Avi Loeb. The Harvard astrophysicist, who famously staked his reputation on Oumuamua being alien technology, wasted no time weighing in on the 3I Atlas files. He argued the intercepted telemetry read like a blueprint for an advanced propulsion system. Each 90-second heat pulse and corresponding course correction was perfectly consistent with a massive ion drive or a similar engine. In Loeb's words, if you wanted to navigate through a solar system while managing heat and energy, you would use timed, directional thrust. That is what the data shows. But the most jarring evidence was a fragment recovered by the interceptor's dust collector. A leaked lab memo described a fleck of material with a lattice of silicon and doped phosphorus, arranged in layers spaced at micron intervals. The structure was noted as being radiation-hardened to a degree far beyond current human capability, suggesting it was built for long-duration travel through the harsh interstellar medium. This wasn't just a circuit, it was an artifact from a civilization far beyond our own. So what does this all mean? We have a fictional but detailed account of an interstellar object, 3I Atlas, discovered in 2025. And we have a leaked cache of alleged NASA documents that point to a disturbing conclusion: that the object was a piece of technology. Metallic armor, rhythmic heat pulses that act as thrusters, refined nickel, and structured radio echoes all point to an artificial origin. The most shocking piece of evidence, a microscopic fragment that resembles a computer chip, pushes this story from science fiction into something far more unsettling. While the leak itself is part of this narrative, it forces us to ask a terrifying question. What if our first definitive contact isn't a message but a 26-kilometer machine flying silently past our window? The truth is still out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into the secrets of science and technology. Thanks for watching InnoVision Tech.